Hello and welcome back to Coin Lady channel. I believe there is now a better chance than ever before that the Ripple SEC lawsuit will be settled. No one in this video could have guessed the important ruling that Judge Torres just gave us. The most recent ruling by Judge Torres merits some analysis on my part. This video shows that it naturally occurred. The future resolution of this issue will be greatly influenced by this. Let's break that down, and I'll show you what the experts are saying. Her summary judgment decision just revealed some alarming details. The SEC's request to have the Bill Hindman files secret was denied by Judge Torres. This was totally out of the blue. Almost all analysts agreed that Judge Torres would rule in her favor and give summary judgment, and that the Hindman emails would be unsealed as part of this process. And that's how we'd figure out if the Hindman files would ever be released to the general public. But the judge just did something quite interesting. She did not merely release her summary judgment ruling without discussing the contents of the Hindman email. Instead, she decided that the SEC would not be allowed to seal the Hindman records and merely publish that ruling. Of course, this has been a huge financial boon for Ripple for a very long time. Ripple has fought hard to achieve this. Moreover, Ripple has previously commented on these encrypted exchanges. According to Brad Garlinghouse, however, the SEC would have you believe that it cares about clarity, transparency, and disclosure. If and when the truth emerges, ignore what they say. You won't believe how low they stoop to take advantage of the situation. In addition, Brad Garlinghouse mentioned the emails from Bill Hindman. The SEC appears to have made a clear reference to XRP in this email chain, which is yet another interesting discovery resulting from this judgment. Since one of Ripple's lawyers publicly speculated that the SEC might have mentioned XRP in these emails in a judgment from a very long time ago, the XRP community has effectively been assuming that this happened for a while now. A Ripple attorney wouldn't have suggested that unless XRP was referenced in the emails, as I mentioned in a video I recorded at the time. And it seems that is just what happened. The ramifications of this are fascinating on so many levels. So, let's move on to talking about them now. Since a settlement would have to take place whether or not these emails were disclosed, I don't see how one could have been reached before the summary judgment stage. This, however, completely disproves such interpretation. With the knowledge that the Bill Hindman emails would be permanently released, the SEC will be forced to return to the negotiating table. I don't think anyone expected the SEC to be stuck with the ruling again. Do you want everyone to be able to read these emails? The SEC can help clear up confusion about XRP by stopping the spread of these messages to the general public. I see no reason why the SEC wouldn't want to reach a settlement in this case. Not even remotely possible. Judge Torres will not rule that transactions in the XRP secondary market involve the selling of securities. In no universe would you expect Court Torres to decide that XRP traded on the secondary market was a securities. If the judge in the library case had ruled that the secondary market for LBC tokens did not constitute the sale of securities, then the case would have moved forward. Why the SEC doesn't just give up and stop assuming that is beyond me. Now that they know the Bill Hindman emails will be released to the public, I think the SEC needs to find a solution to this issue. Those emails cannot be encrypted in any way. Should Judge Torres rule in her favor on summary judgment, the documents will be made public. And at any point in calculus, that may happen. That's a complete about-face. The effects of this change everything. Don't get the wrong idea. Access to the Hindman materials by the general population is essential. It's great news for Ripple and XRP holders that this was settled before the case went to summary judgment. I understand that many would want to see Ripple just win in court against the SEC, but I believe that a settlement would be in Ripple's best interest. A challenge from the SEC is moot. Ripple stands to gain the most from an SEC ruling that negates the security status of XRP and the secondary market. Everything is a trial or the Supreme Court. If the SEC and Ripple can come to an agreement, there will be no more room for discussion. The issue has been resolved. XRP has never had and will never have a security flaw. There is probably a lot of sensitive information in a settlement that Ripple wants to keep under wraps. Documents that detail the SEC's demand that Ripple hand up 100% of their sales proceeds will remain under wraps. And now Judge Torres has decided to make this record public. Do we now consider this on par with the Hinman emails? Far from it, though I think we've now accepted the idea that Ripple sells SRP. But will Ripple be interested in releasing this report? It's really unlikely. A settlement would allow them to avoid this situation, which is likely what they want. Just how much additional information do we have? We're all aware of the SEC's struggles in trying to control Bitcoin. We're all well aware that they were defeated in court. Therefore, this year's loss to Ripple would be catastrophic. If the SEC is completely trounced by Ripple and XRP is ruled not to be a security, the agency's ambitions to regulate cryptocurrencies may fall flat. The question then becomes what the SEC can do to restore its honor. The SEC has the potential to end this lawsuit. The SEC can advise Ripple that it must pay a fine for early sales since they involve securities transactions if they and the SEC can settle their dispute. Resonance can react. That's acceptable. To a certain extent, yes. Now that XRP is no longer considered a security, everyone benefits. There is now more certainty for Ripple about where XRP is headed. Because the SEC is not obligated to disclose the bill, that is where they both made their substantial gains. Books by Heinemann on Ethereum. But apart from that, what does the SEC get? Since Ripple admitted selling securities in this region, the SEC knows it can pursue them and advise such enterprises in the future that they need to register. That's a big win for the Southeastern Conference. Conceding that XRP is not a security offers them a decisive advantage in this situation. The SEC may have taken a big hit, but they still have access to 20,000 tokens. It is illogical that they would focus on XRP when they might cause problems for the entire company. And please understand that I do not wish for it to happen under any circumstances. Nonetheless, the SEC will need this, and I think it will be the best outcome for them. I think a resolution will be reached before this happens since it is in everyone's best interest. I really didn't think it was going to happen. It went on for too long. The parties had no new reasons to postpone a decision on summary judgment. But this additional motivation is significant, because I consider this to be critically important, and because Ashley Prosper and I have a similar line of thinking on this matter. Now I'd want to talk about why Judge Torres ruled the way she did. In my perspective, Judge Torres has already rendered a summary decision. It's likely that Judge Torres has already decided who will win. My guess is that she delayed today's summary ruling to allow the parties one last chance to negotiate a settlement. This will be the most important ruling Judge Torres ever makes. This is going to be an important decision for the whole crypto sector to make. Moreover, she would consider it a great success if she could put off making a choice in this matter. She'd rather avoid making a choice at the moment. If these two groups could only agree on something, it would make her life so much easier. She's currently using her trump card in an attempt to force a compromise. If the SEC has something it doesn't want the public to see, does it have it? You are aware of the documentation that will make you look like complete amateurs in business. If this case is not resolved immediately, those will be released. For crying out loud, Stuart Alderati said on national television that this disagreement will be settled the moment Ripple received confirmation from the SEC that XRP and the secondary market are not securities, so she knows that Ripple will rapidly resolve this matter. Since both Bitcoin and Ethereum are utilities, it comes as no surprise that Judge Torres ranked XRP as more useful. The SEC has formally recognized their non-security status. Furthermore, we are aware of the library's recent lawsuit against the SEC, which resulted in a ruling that the library token traded on the secondary market was not a security. Whether we achieve a settlement, the current climate is remarkable and will force the SEC to show its true colors. It is now my firm belief that this case will move to if the parties involved are unable to reach a settlement and the SEC grants summary judgment at this time. The Supreme Court, because no reasonable body would ever let this case go to trial. Unless Ripple rejects the settlement, which I highly doubt, the SEC's primary purpose is to try to slow down and frustrate Ripple. Don't even go there with that topic right now. I think the SEC will have to at least make a settlement offer to Ripple now that the future of XRP is more certain. Since Mark is someone I talk about quite a bit on this channel, I want to end this video by showing just how terrible it was. As a former SEC employee, he's confident that his old employer would emerge victorious in this case. In light of today's ruling, he further remarked, "It certainly seems doubtful the court would be making more records available if they were preparing to grant the SEC's move for summary judgment." Recently, the biggest SEC backer caved down and confessed that the SEC had almost no chance of winning in summary judgment. Definitely a major success. It appears that Judge Torres has just shown her hand. She has just confirmed my suspicion that XRP will emerge victorious from this conflict. If we move on with summary judgment, there will likely be some sort of compromise. I anticipate that Ripple will be fined. But at this point, I don't think we'll make it that far. In my opinion, a conclusion will be reached this week or the week after. But, as I've already said, I think the decision made by Judge Torres is definitive. The document, as far as I can tell, is finished. It's possible she's giving them one last chance to make up. Verify if this actually takes place. Anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much for coming today. I trust you found this update interesting. Please subscribe and like if you did. See you in the next video. Bye.